the meta in Valorant often gets stagnant. The same agents, the same strats game in and game out. But what if I told you that with smart play, you could go against the grain and pop off in ranked without giving in to the meta? That's why in this video, we're gonna be breaking down one of the best players in the world, Asuna, to see how we can pop off just like him in our ranked games.
Cypher.
Spike down, C.
Funny trip.
Dude, horse. Maybe on Cypher.
Don't resist.
Number.
One enemy remaining.
Nice, 2v1.
Ooh.
Last player standing.
Now notice here, after a slow walk execute C, Asuna pops ult and uses flash to burst out. At least that was the initial plan, but once he sees the smoke, the cage, and the extra utility, he doesn't force out here and instead remains patient. He's trying to keep an eye on his jet and swing off the information and the contact that the jet gets. Now, notice that the jet clears close left and right, so he can swing out of the smoke and challenge back of sight, which he gets a kill. He can challenge this back of sight because he's no longer afraid of getting killed to the left or the right of him. And it's really important for you to understand that you don't always need to only push when your duelist push. Put yourself in a position to instantly play off of the information they gather and make sure that you are effective in trading or swinging with them when they actually do make contact. Now, after he retreats back into the smoke, he's gonna flash out of the smoke and deny the peek from the right side, but challenges the peek platform. He knows that there is a person on both locations, so as long as he denies one, he can challenge the other. He's gonna temporarily hold platform, but the Cypher jiggles and his crosshair placement is perfect. So he's gonna get a free kill, reset back, and then he's gonna swing together with his teammate. And together, him and his teammate take out the remaining two players for the next two kills. Now notice how Asuna makes large efforts to isolate 1v1s and does not allow enemies to fight him at the same time. It's really important that you go above and beyond to do this in your games because it's really hard enough to win a 1v1, much less a 1v2 or 3. So put in the extra work with your utility or your team's information so that you can guarantee create at least a 1v1. Now notice Asuna's playing Reyna, and he has very good aim, but what if I told you you don't actually need crazy aim to frag out on Reyna, which is why it's not coincidental that you see Reyna players always on top. There's a bunch of nuance that goes into dominating on Reyna, but it's really not that hard if you know what you're doing. That's why we go over it all in our brand new Reyna course, which we isolate every concept that you actually need to climb in about 10 minutes. Make sure you check it out in the links down below.
Alright, I have a judge. Two heaven.
Can we do the NV or optic setup? Can we do the optic? Yeah, can you optic me? Optic, yep, this looks good. Optic looks great. Optic setup is good. Yep. Optic setup.
One heaven.
Only got
One enemy remaining.
3, 2,
Last player
1.
standing.
Yep.
like one tap.
How do you get faster?
While I'm jump spotting.
Now on this next point, after a Killjoy lockdown to take control of A, Asuna pushes up all the way to the corner of the point. He then calls for what he says is the optic setup, but essentially what he wants here is for his jet to make noise, bait presence, and constantly move and make more noise in cubby. This quote-unquote sells that spot and denies the spot he's in. Think of it like masking, where the more attention you draw towards one spot, the less likely people are going to be aware of it. And combine that with the fact that he timing his opponent very narrowly by walking with his knife out at the end of the lockdown, he was able to get into this corner before enemies expected of him. And because of the additional noise that he called for his jet to make, they don't clear him at all, and he gets 2 free kills here. And this is against Immortal and Radiant players. The takeaway for you is with some simple communication and intentional baiting that you set up with them, you could easily trick even great enemies into not clearing angles and get some really free kills. Try it with your duel partner, and I promise you it's one of the most powerful concepts in the entire game and can be applied in a numerous amount of situations.
And they just have to be like top left or something.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, I'm gonna door ceiling.
Wide flank there.
My ult.
Yo, why is there 4 people there?
Now later on, Asuna is going to take control of Garage with his blind and works his way up to window silently. Now he does cross the line of sight of a Jet opping, so the enemies know he's there, but he's waiting for the call of his teammate who says that they are going to dart the link, and he is ready to follow up for his free kill. He's in a good position, and he's ready to capitalize on the utility that he knows is coming. Once the utility goes out, he's going to easily get a free kill by seeing the enemy through the wall and just wall banging him. And notice how he's going to insta swing and put his crosshair placement towards that left corner. Cypher dies instantly, even though that Cypher had information on Asuna. And while Asuna does get some information about Cypher's location as well, he was already swinging the angle like someone was 100% there. And this is the real art to clearing angles. When you're trying to clear angles or challenge space, you need to be swinging angles as if there's someone 100% there. And you can actually practice this when you're just walking around in deathmatch. Challenge every single common angle as if there is someone there, and this allows you to have that perfect peek and perfect crosshair placement, really utilizing peeker's advantage. And if you only peek angles wide and then aim after the fact, you'll always be a step slower than players that are already ready and imagining that there's a person there ready to be killed.
One more backside. Nice. That backside. Alarm bot out. Turret's down. It's kind of safe plan.
One enemy remaining.
Resource.
Bro, they got a feature on China on every map. I forgot it.
Now some rounds after that, after a fast attempt C, an Opera kills his teammate instantly. And I know that this has happened to you and it's pretty frustrating because you don't know what to do at this point. Now, notice while he does try to trade initially, the Opera dashes away and he's gonna get swung simultaneously by the Omen. Now the crazy thing is the Omen actually hits the first shot on him, but notice the patience from Asuna in lining up and killing the Omen. When he was hit by the Omen, he was moving, so it wasn't as easy to hit him as it was for him to trade back on the Omen. He's going to slow down the engagement and focus on hitting his shot. After he kills the Omen, he's going to grab the heal and he's going to jiggle back to deny an angle of the enemy Opera, but he's not going to disconnect the heal. Really important, and he fully understands just how far he can go to deny line of sight, but not break that ability off. Now, the big takeaway for you is you need to have a lot of patience when trading your bullets. When something unexpected happens, don't give in to the pressure. It could have been very easy for him to die here if he saw the Omen, got panicked, started spraying, or maybe after the Opera killed somebody, he instantly ran away. He was very patient, focused on hitting his shots as opposed to trying to dodge the opponents, and most importantly, didn't panic at all. Now, even though he killed the Omen, another teammate dies to the op, so Asuna approaches and simultaneously hugs the left but flashes high right. This protects him from the peek and denies a wide angle from the Opper. He then is going to use another one to create a longer area of line of sight denial, and then he's going to clear the blind Jet and just straight up kills her. Now, while he does this with Reyna's Leer, you can do this with a ton of characters where you're just utilizing utility to gain better position. You're filling in space with damage so people can't push through. You're blinding open space even if you're getting blinded as well as you navigate to the place you want to be in. It's very powerful to utilize your utility to also transfer yourself to a better position, so even if you don't get instant value from the utility by revealing someone or killing someone, you're still putting yourself in a better situation to fight them in the next engagement, and that's exactly what he utilizes Leer for. Not to necessarily kill them while they're blind, but to close in that gap because he wants to fight them at a close effective range. Now he's going to use his Demis to get info, and he does find an enemy really close in that ISO, so he's going to jump tuck away and barely survive as his teammates get the trade off. Now notice how he's going to hold that smoke and kills that slow walking Cypher out of it, and then follows it up with some really nice cross replacement on the Sova. Now, it seems simple, but a lot of players don't hold smokes enough. You got to understand that if you're just holding the outside of a smoke, an opponent is peeking out blind. They have to clear so many different angles, and you get to just hold the smoke and easily kill them. So as long as the smoke is up, it's a really good idea if you're maintaining space to not be afraid of holding smokes. But once the smoke falls, you can definitely back off that angle.
One flanking. Enemy spotted. C.
I'll smoke. You pan out the...
Brother, my ult is ready.
Oh my gosh. He's already up.
Plant.
All the way.
I know exactly where you are.
Last player standing.
It's big.
One enemy remaining.
The enemy Cypher is gonna ult, and he only has a few moments to act as the rest of his team dies. He's gonna challenge ISO on the right and kills him, and then he's gonna dismiss on top of the enemy Sova, who has a Sheriff. So he's gonna go left and dip right really hard. Then he's gonna jump on top of him and spray at him from above, which kills him. Now this might seem like pure comedy to do, like what the heck is this game even? But you gotta understand that when people are using the Sheriff, they're really trying to hit that headshot with perfect crosshair placement, and if he jumps, then the Sova, who has their crosshair head level, would never be able to headshot him. Basically, Asuna is following this directive. Whenever your opponent wants a static fight, a really disciplined fight with holding angles, counter strafing, and precision, make it a scrappy fight, a movement-filled fight. And this is a mistake that a lot of players make, where they would have challenged the Sheriff user with a perfect jiggle, a perfect challenge, but that's often what the Sheriff user wants. What they don't want to fight against, someone that's running and gunning, moving, and really utilizing their mobility, because it's so much harder for them to hit their shot. Instead, you put it on a more level playing field when you play slow and you play more towards gun fundamentals instead of your movement fundamentals. Now Asuna is going to hear the tap and start to spray, and the enemy makes a huge mistake, and the Jet challenges Asuna by himself. Asuna is going to get that first kill, dismiss to close in on the second kill, and kill the Cypher, clutching up technically a 1v4. Now the enemy had tons of time as he fought people CT, and they could have easily set up to challenge him at the same time, but instead they tapped alone, challenged alone, and got completely demolished. Now, when you look at the ego play of the enemy Jet and Asuna's ego play when he challenges the two people CT, what's the difference? Why did Asuna's work and Asuna's was right, and why was the Jet's wrong? Well, it all comes down to the numbers. Asuna is in a 1v4 where he has to start popping off and applying pressure. He has to play high risk, he has to play fast, and he has to make the play work. Versus the Jet was in a 2v1 situation, the advantage was on their side, and if they would have played more fundamental, they probably would have shut Asuna down. It's one thing to play to your ego when you have to, and it's a completely other thing to play to your ego when the advantage is already there. You could play more fundamental and just lock in that win. Essentially, the Jet played to the ego when it was not needed, played to the risk that didn't need to be taken, and it all crumbled underneath them.
Yeah.
I'm flanking.
One more graffiti, by the way.
There's no chip on flank.
I can stun hell in a second. Listen. 5 seconds, I'll stun.
I'm gonna leer twice for you guys. Oh wait, no, you should go spawn.
I'm walking up sure I'm going late.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Do everything.
Start going.
Still
I'm
inside.
behind Sero. Oh, wait, don't peek. No one peek. No one do anything.
Last player standing.
Wait, where are they? Oh.
Now this last round, Asuna is setting up to retake on A. He knows the smoke is about to drop, so he jumps up on ledge, pings the corner, and waits for the smoke to drop. It drops, and he easily corrects his aim and kills the enemy that's playing in corner. Now normally it would have been better to wait for your team, but enemies are rarely going to be ready for the smoke to drop out of nowhere, and he used this to his advantage. As a takeaway for you, making a play when utility changes on the map can be that golden window that enemies are caught lacking and not expecting things to change in that way, just like they weren't expecting Asuna to pop out of nowhere when he was hiding in the smoke that was about to fall. Now, by combining smart fundamentals, good movement, and an understanding of tempo, you can destroy players of any rank, and I think this VOD review breaks that down just right. But definitely let us know if you have any big questions or comments down below. Thank you so much for coming by, and we'll see you next time.